How can the Irish sea god Manannan really be the fire god, equivalent of Agni? Not only is this a certain fact, but none of Manannan's actions can be understood without knowing this identity. Nor can the very creation myth of the Celts be understood without this knowledge. The Manannan question is a classic litmus test to see if someone knows the Vedic and comparative material well enough to differentiate Agni from the related descendant of the waters god, Apam Nepat, the defender of the shining glory in the waters, comparable to Heimdall. And then to correctly see this Agni underneath the outward form of the Irish sea god. I will give here the short version of the evidence showing Manannan to be the celestial form of Agni. Manannan uses fire to kill two other gods, Fuamnach and Mither, and decides whether to use fire to kill a criminal. Irish gods using fire as a weapon is not a common occurrence, so why is a supposed sea god burning other gods to death and deciding whether to burn people? Manannan has scorched red and yellow spears, while Agni has a flaming spear. Manannan has the cup that tests truth and falsity, which is a main feature of trial by fire, as can easily be found in Indo-Iranic tradition, with the cup of brimstone that tests truth, among other variations. Only the fire god would have the trial by fire cup, the cup of truth and falsity. Manannan shapeshifts to test humans just like Agni does, this also embodying the idea of trial by fire, fire as the tester of virtue and that which transforms and purifies. Agni has 3 legs. Manannan is described as rolling around on 3 legs in Irish folklore. According to Arthur Anthony MacDonald in his book Vedic Mythology, the most well-established detail about Agni is that he is born from the waters, and his domain is the waters. Manannan is son of the sea, and his domain is there. He is simply a version of the fire god who became more identified with his watery domain. Manannan is a psychopomp like Agni, and both are associated with the east. Manannan crafts various items and has the hook and belt of Goibniu, the smith, yet he is distinct from the smith god proper. Why does he do and have these things but isn't the smith per se? Because fire is necessary to the smith, and the fire god was seen as the arch-smith. The Greek fire god Hephaestus is an Agni parallel who has more fully been identified with his smith role. Manannan's wife, Fond, Pearl of Beauty, becomes lover of warrior demigod Cuchulainn, and then Manannan has to intervene to bring her back using his magical cloak that he places between them. This is the parallel of when fire god Hephaestus's wife, Aphrodite, goddess of beauty, becomes lover of war god Ares, and Hephaestus intervenes with his magical net that he catches them in. And this again parallels when Agni's wife, Svaha, becomes lover of warrior god Krishna, but Krishna says she has to go back and be wife of Agni first. Manannan serves the food to the gods at the Feast of Age, while Agni brings the burnt sacrifices from earth to the tables of the gods as their food. Agni is the overseer of marriages, hence the importance of circling the fire in Vedic marriage ceremonies. As Manannan is said in the fosterage of the House of Two Pails to be given authority over all marriages and births. I also discovered a structural pattern that repeats across nearly all the branches, which confirms Manannan, or Manawydan, is the fire god. Manawydan, being the second husband of Rhiannon in Welsh mythology, is a mythic expression of the ancient Indo-European marriage rite as recorded in the Rig Veda, hymn number 10.85. The archetypal bride and sunbeam goddess Surya is passed first to Soma, then to the Gandharva, then to Agni. This sunbeam goddess appears in Welsh myth as the wife of Arawn, who is Soma, and who Pwyll, the Gandharva, sleeps next to for a year, then as Rhiannon, who Pwyll subsequently marries for himself, with Rhiannon lastly marrying Manawydan after Pwyll dies, thus transferring from Gandharva to Agni, just as in the Rig Veda hymn. In the tale of Rhiannon, Manawydan specifically parallels Vasistha, incarnation of Agni and priest of Samvarana. Manawydan, outwitting the hostile sorcerer and dispelling his magic at the end of Manawydan, son of Llyr, is another coded enactment of the fire god role. One of the main functions of Agni in the Vedas is to dispel hostile magic and sorcerers, especially to open the sacred rite in a purified space. This is what Manawydan is actually doing in his tale. This is why his tale is followed by the myth of the sun rising. Math Fab Mathonwi is the equivalent of Savitar, the god of the rising sun. And it is this sunrise which Manawydan, acting as sacred fire, has brought about. This is Bjultana. With this context, Manawydan's role in Branwen, daughter of Llyr, the Welsh creation myth, can finally be understood. Efnisien, Nisien, and Manawydan, who break apart the marriage of earth and sky, or Branwen and Matholach, and then confront a child named Alder, are equivalent of Odin, Heinir, and Lother, who are the equivalent of Rudra, Shiva, and Agni. Vedic theology saw this trio as one triple god on the esoteric level: the flame, Agni, and the destructive and auspicious luminosity of the flame, Rudra Shiva. Although the sea god, being secretly the fire god, may be hard to believe at first, little in Irish myth is so well supported as this counterintuitive conclusion. It would be an uphill battle to assert for Manannan any other identity than that of the fire god in the face of such evidence. The domain of the ocean is Manannan's, but this is only the surface level of who he is. Very fitting for a god of disguises and tests to pass himself off for only a sea god for so long, when in truth he is far more. My book, Taliesin's Map, The Comparative Guide to Celtic Mythology, is available from Amazon. Link in the description.